Hello, everyone. We are live. There's some mad, funky background noise going on, which is slightly surprising. There we are. Director Jack's taking it off. How are we? A very interesting weekend in the boxing world. Jordan Thompson dared to be great against IBF and Ring Magazine champion Jai Opetaia. Wow, what a fighter he was. We're going to go all into it. John Ryder is hopefully joining us at 7:30, providing that there's no technical difficulties. If not, you're going to be dealing with me. We're going to be speaking to the chat. Hopefully, get some people in. Hopefully, get John Ryder in. Obviously, Canelo Charlo at the weekend as well. Disappointed in Charlo personally. Obviously, a big step up from 154. Derek James said that he would have rather that Charlo came in a little bit lighter, just didn't have any power at 168. Nothing that he threw gave Canelo anything to worry about. Thought maybe Canelo could have pushed the stoppage. Obviously, we saw when Charlo went down, but he was just on his bike the whole night. What can we do? Jack, director, who is behind the thing. How do we get the chat up? Want to see what the old YouTube chat's saying. Stephen Rowe said embarrassing. Don't know what's embarrassing, mate. It's a Sunday evening and we're recapping this weekend's boxing. I suppose firstly, let's go into the matchroom card then last night. Will you be covering your loss on the Fight Day 5K? I probably should. This weekend was not my best. I was hungover though. I don't want to be running a 5K when hungover. At least I got up and I did it. Matchroom card, Maisie Rose Courtney back in the ring, Shannon Ryan back in the ring. I'm gonna have to run through everything now. George Liddard then fought Ibrahim Spider Suleiman. Rhiannon Dixon on the main card, Chef Clark on the main card, Jimmy Sains made his debut, Ellie Scottney, Jordan Thompson. I suppose firstly on Jordan Thompson, I was in the dressing room with him beforehand. He seemed calm, he seemed comfortable, he seemed relaxed. Not to be though, Jai Opetaia even. What a fighter. What a fighter. Um, just trying to see where John Ryder's at. All good for 7:30. Let's hope he is. Everyone, give this a little push. If you're watching this, try and hit the like button. We're going to try and do these. I think we're going to do these for the next 4 Saturdays. So this Saturday, obviously, we had the boxing unfolding. Next week, what is it? Wood Warrington. That should be a good one. We'll hopefully get a good guest on for that. Try and get Eddie on for one of these. Then Misfits, KSI, Tommy Fury. Even if you don't like that sort of stuff, I feel like there's going to be a lot of eyes on that card. And then finally, to wrap up the 4 weeks, Catrell Linares. Then if we decide to keep doing these, maybe Lewis Hart and Matt Lenahan will be presenting them from time to time. But for the next 4 weeks, it'll be my face that you're unfortunately stuck with. Go on the boy Parsons. We need more live stuff like this. We're trying, mate. We're mixing matching. Um, it's only a start up, but it's a good little thing. I think it's always good to try and dissect the weekend's action, especially if we can get someone on here and get some good interaction with the chat. At the minute, it's we're hoping that John Ryder's come, but it's going to come at 7:30. But I'm a little bit worried. I won't lie. And then I might just have to speak to you for half an hour, which could be boring. Just to confirm, they definitely do say Shan in Edwards Manor. Maybe they do. Parsons smashing it. I appreciate you. Big up Parsons from a fellow Southampton fan. Up the Saints. Good little win. Hello, who is your favourite influencer boxer? Good one. I like Jake Paul. I don't think what he's done for the sport has necessarily been bad. The MVP stuff's all pro. He signed Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano's done some great things in the professional scene. I also don't think Jake Paul's that bad. Obviously, he wasn't quite on Tommy Fury's level, but I think for a geezer who's only boxed for a couple of years doing this camp out in Puerto Rico, it's not for everyone. But Boatsy Aziz on the same night as Catrell Linares should be a good one. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Forgot about Boatsy Aziz, actually. I only sort of managed to process and think my schedule coming up, but that one's going to be a great fight. Like heavyweight. I'd love to see someone like, you know what it is? I feel like the domestic scene at the minute is like, there can be so many more fights on top of that. Obviously, there's talk of the Anthony Yard fight. We know that Ben Shalom wants to maybe put the winner of Aziz Boatsy in with Anthony Yard. That would be great. Who else? Lyndon Arthur, Craig Richards. I spoke to him last night. He's returning to the ring soon. He likes the Lyndon Arthur fight. I would love to see that. You flying out to San Francisco, Parsons? That's it. Amy Progray. Looking forward to that. I should be out in San Francisco. I believe San Francisco and Arizona back to back, and then maybe the week after we go to Abu Dhabi. Won't be in Cirencester much in the December months. John Ryder has read my WhatsApp. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Anyone questions in the chat? Make sure you like the stream, by the way. The more likes that we get, the more it pushes on the algorithm on YouTube. I don't know how it all works. We're all figuring it out at the minute. John Ryder's logging in now. So that is good. We should have some insight from him. Good weekend for the Sims Gym. Obviously, like I said, not meant to be for Tony, but all the other lads. Good fight, agreed. Think Richards would stop after. I love that fight. I think it's a great fight. In fact, we'll get John's thoughts on that. And then there's Monaco November 4. Joe Cordina returns. What's after that? I feel like Pacheco maybe the matchroom card the week after that. Harlem Eubanks just been announced as a fight in Brighton. Yes, let's connect. Out in San Francisco, bro. I'm happy. Apparently the food out there is incredible. Burritos, I'm hearing are good. Never been to San Fran. Looking forward to that one. Jack, is there a delay, by the way? Like, what's the delay from the recording to the live stream? None. Okay, no worries. Just making sure. Like seconds, fine. Should have John any minute now. Just put messages in the chat, lads. I don't want to wing it myself for the whole time. Waiting on Jai Opatara, I was shocked at. We've now seen that Tyson Fury said that he wants to bring him in for the Usyk camp. I'm actually a little bit interested to see what people think about that because I don't think he's going to be in a hard camp for Ngannou, but then to go straight back into the Usyk camp probably end up being a bit of a pre-camp. But then who knows? Cuts come into play, but I don't know. That pad footage wasn't great, to be honest, from Francis Ngannou. Oh, John should be with us any moment. I'm waiting. He said he was logging in. He said half past, to be fair. He's got 2 minutes. What did everyone think of Jimmy Sains' pro debut? I've been told a lot about him. Never seen him actually myself before. Box, seen that he got some mad knockouts in the amateurs. But last night against an opponent, I think his opponent last night was what you'd expect to see when he was quite high up at the card. Sold an awful lot of tickets. Get everyone to get. Oh, by the way, yeah, our new sponsor, houseofboxing.com, it's pretty incredible, to be fair. You can win free gifts, all sorts. I think there's something like a prize for $100,000 a week in cash just for predicting boxing results. Me personally, not always predicting them right, but we may as well give it a go when there's 100 G's on the line, right? Especially now the exchange rate's all right. That's nearly 100,000. All smoke and mirrors, young Parsons, really, and Ngannou sparring on 23rd of December day. Yeah, maybe. It's obviously not necessarily does go on December the 23rd. I agree with you on that. Maybe January. Yeah, I don't know, though. That Ngannou pad footage, can that be smoke and mirrors? Really? Like, even if that is him, I mean, it was an open workout with a whole lot of media, so I would hope that it wasn't him taking the piss and intentionally looking bad. But even if it was, I don't still. What can Ngannou bring that Tyson? Eddie said something like Johnny Fisher would beat him. I don't know. What level do people think that Ngannou is? He's not a boxer. But that footage, I mean, it was the laziest jab I've ever seen. Do you watch MMA? If yes, who do you have? Jones versus Stipe? I don't watch MMA, unfortunately. I'm not a big MMA fan. I feel like boxing and UFC have never always got on. Paulie Malignaggi's a great person for that argument. Sains was good last night, a bit eager, but always good to see a fighter wanting a KO. You know what? He must have had a good couple of hundred people in there. It was very loud when he was there, so it makes sense that he was eager. But you'd want to go out and get a KO on a night like that, and the referee came in. I mean, it was all very one-sided. Yes, he had boxing fights before MMA, looked a lot better than that. I think he will be around Johnny Fish, so a Southern area level. It's mad, isn't it? But hey, he's securing the bag. What a story. I think in excess of 10 million he's earning. Wait a Gorilla's in.
Peter Parsons.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. You?
The unit himself has joined us. How's things? All good?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Not since I last see you.
I know. What have you been spending your lovely Sunday doing?
Well, mate, as you know, I smashed the 5K yesterday.
Of course. By the way, what was your time?
Left you in my dust. Well, mate, it was a bit of a moving the goalpost for the finish line, wasn't it?
Of course, yeah. So I finished at 4.7 kilometers.
Yeah, mate, it was a bit of a shambles, wasn't it?
But have you got the old jetpacks?
The old jetpacks.
You know, like the running trainers that just make
Mate,
everyone
it's in the thighs, mate. It's in the thighs.
obscenely fast.
Yeah. You was in a rush to get back, though. Did you get it sorted all right?
I was in a rush to get back. I had to go and check out the old hotel. It weren't
Mate.
ideal. Would you rather fight 10 gorilla-sized pigeons or one gorilla-sized pigeon?
10. Oh, 10. What was that? 10
10
gorilla-sized
gorilla-sized
pigeons.
pigeons or one gorilla-sized pigeon?
Yeah, 10 gorilla-sized pigeons.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? That's
Just
easy.
like a shooter, innit? Just boot them all.
Just kick them all, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what's next for the gorilla? Put up a decent fight against Saul. This is what we're waiting to see. I've been speaking to Charlie. He's toying with a bit of Jaime Munguia. Is that what you get yourself
Mate,
into?
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm just waiting. I'm hoping Munguia. The carrot is being dangled, and mate, I'm fully there to take a bite.
Oh, we're not as zoomed in now. How nice. You like going to a backyard? You're not phased by anything.
Mate,
You did it in Mexico. Like, in fact, you ended up the king of Mexico when you left last time.
mate, it was a humble experience, wasn't it? After that fight, you witnessed it yourself. It was quite a heartwarming experience as well. The Mexicans really took to me and embraced me and showed me a lot of love, even in defeat.
Happy to go back out there for Jaime?
Mate, for a holiday or a fight, either way, yes, I'll definitely go back out
Both.
there. Both, even better. Both is even better for me.
Right, let's go into it. This weekend's action. I suppose, firstly, just on the Sims gym itself, Maisie Rose back in the ring against a former European champion. Very solid performance in there. Happy with how she's progressing so far with her career?
Yeah, mate, great performance. Boxed really well. I thought the scorecard was a bit harsh, 58-56. I didn't really give the other girl a round. I thought Maisie boxed well and boxed in her comfort zone. Got caught with a few little silly shots, but I think when you're switching at times, you're gonna leave yourself a bit fragile at times. But she's learning. She's doing well. First 6-rounder, and on to the next one.
With the depth in the divisions, obviously you can sort of go to world titles very quickly. Is it realistic to sort of, for someone like her, she could really be looking at world titles in 12 months?
I think the sensible thing would be like a British, Commonwealth, or a European. Just stages. She's still very young, isn't she? There's a lot of girls in the division who are that bit older. I think just take your time. You haven't got to do it within 6 or 8 fights.
No, of
Just
course.
be sensible. Take your time and learn on the job. It's completely different to amateur boxing. So there's a lot to be learned, and she's constantly learning and progressing.
George Liddard, he was spoke to him afterwards. He was a little bit sort of down about his performance. Everyone that I spoke to was really happy with it. I mean, you're not going to go in and you're not going to be bowling people over every single time, right? Just on him, he's progressing well as well. I think the same as him and Maisie, they've been so active. I think maybe now time to have a bit of a rest, back to the drawing board, and come out strong at back end of the year, start of next year.
Mate, I think they've both had great first years. Both of them, Maisie and George. George is always that bit extra critical on himself and always wants that punch perfect performance. And you're not really going to get it. There's a lot of survivors in there. They want to see the final bell so they can fight again next week or the week after. So they're there to survive, and you can't always look good against these people. But like I say, he is his own harshest critic, and he'll be down about it. But listen, it's better you keep yourself easy to match. If you go 5-0, 5 knockouts, it's going to be hard to match yourself. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's sensible. Listen, he didn't get a stoppage, but if you go looking for it, it often doesn't come. So I think in time he's just going to learn to relax, let his skills pay the bills, and the stoppages will come.
I said to him afterwards as well. I mean, I'll use you as an example. I'm sure you weren't happy after every fight in your first sort of 15, were you? So it's not, Rome weren't built in a day. You're not always going to have your best performance.
George wasn't on that job though, Parsons, mate. If he was, Rome would have been built in a day. You know what I mean?
True.
That's the kind of level he's working with.
Well, let me talk about that then. What's it like working under Tony Sims? Someone's just put that in the chat.
I see someone
Every
says that.
What's that?
Mate, it's a dream. It's Tony Sims is. There's not many people in this world like Tony Sims. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's a special kind of person. He's got the respect of being like a father figure, but he'll treat you like a friend and a brother. He'll take the piss out of you. He'll be there for that bit of brotherly advice, but you've got his undivided attention, and he's just a great person.
I've always found the dynamic in that gym just so, I suppose, special, really. Every time I pop down, I mean, you lot are maybe not, I suppose, you so much at the minute. You've not got a fight that you're working towards, but you're still in there. I mean, doing the circuits and whatever at sort of 4, 5 a.m., especially in the winter, and it's so cold in that gym. But I don't know, it's like iron sharpens iron. Everyone's always in there. Everyone's always firing. The atmosphere is always good. I don't think I've ever seen it bad. Why is it so successful? We never hear about arguments and stuff down that gym. Okay, look, not everything every day is easy, but everyone gets on with each other, likes spending time with each other. It's good environment.
Yeah, no, I think Tony said in the past that of all the groups of fighters he's had, this has probably been the closest knit group he's had. And listen, we're not out on the piss with each other, but we all get along. We all go for breakfast. We all go for lunch, whatever. After our runs, we all mix, and we all want the best for each other. I think that's the best thing. We all want to see each other win. We all want to help each other progress and just see each other do well.
Right, let's discuss last night's main event. Jordan Thompson wasn't meant to be for him. Before I do that, I've been told by the man behind all of this, John, can you tell them all to like the stream? Apparently, the more people that like the stream, the more viewers and questions we get, because they obviously all want to see your beautiful face this Sunday evening.
Please, please, please like this stream. We don't want Parsons to get the tic tac and get
I
replaced
don't,
by someone else.
I know, don't
Um, we need Parsons on this show. Please, please like this stream, just so Parsons can get a new hat.
peace.
Yeah. And a new football shirt. He had a horrific football shirt on yesterday. What was that?
Dundee United retro shirt.
Dundee United retro shirt. What was that on one of them special packs?
No, you'd think so, wouldn't you? I
Yeah.
weirdly went up to Dundee last April. I have some friends up there, big boxing fans. It was the biggest culture shock of my life. And he kept meaning to send me down this retro shirt, and he wanted me to wear it for the Fight Day 5K, and that I did. You know
Fair
me,
play to you, mate.
a rascal clubber.
I got a bit of respect for that, mate. Fair play to you.
Right, last night, Jordan Thompson wasn't to be.
Yeah.
Huge at the weight, no secret that he struggled making weight. We know that punch resistance isn't always there when you're cutting to make weight like that. What did you make of it? I mean, there were times where he landed, but Jai was just incredible. I mean, after that performance, people were saying, we didn't really know just how good he was. We saw the Bradis fight, but obviously out of Australia, we know boxing's growing over there, but he was a bit of an unknown quantity. What a fighter.
Yeah, first of all, let me say Jordan Thompson, what a unbelievable athlete he is.
Yeah.
He's good at everything, a bit like a Joe Cordina. Them kind of people, you love them, but you want to hate them because they're just good at everything. Anything they turn their hands to, they're good at. And yeah, last night wasn't his night, but he dared to be great. He dared to do, and he come up short. But listen, I'd say we all didn't really know the strength of Jai Patai. He obviously beat Marius Bredis, but this was at a point when Bredis was dressing up as Super Mario to get a fight with Jake Paul, and we all just he's had enough. He's cashing out. He's took his after ball, and we all just thought that he'd beat an over the hill Marius Bredis. But I think last night we saw that he is a very, very good tough operator.
I think also more credit to Jordan as well, because Masternak didn't want the fight, Riakporhe didn't want the fight. I think there was maybe talk about Bradis having the fight for that date. Jordan stepped up when a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, he dared to do. he come up short, but he's got the opportunity to go again. He's young enough. What was that? His 16th fight, mate. In my 16th fight, I fought for the British title, so he's gone one better than me. Listen, like I say, he come up short, but he's going to have learnt a ton from that. And whether his future be at cruiserweight or moving up to heavyweight, even a shot at a bridgerweight title potentially, is there to be seen.
Well, let's pick up on that then. Obviously, we see some of these guys, they fill out and then they end up having a massive frame. He was almost sort of like a skinny build, but I think definitely start to sort of thicken out and fill out recently. If heavyweight is the move, what's his ceiling?
Mate, you got no deal. He's obviously got a bit of filling out to do into the heavyweight. He's still making cruiserweight, so you're gonna have to take a bit of time just to fill out and be sensible. But listen, there's big fights for him in the British scene with the likes of Fabio Wardley. That fight, the winner of that fight potentially. There's great fights for him.
John, Canelo last night against Charlo. Charlo moving up from 154. I was a bit disappointed in Charlo, just sort of just on his bike the whole night. Didn't really look to engage after I think the third or the fourth round. Went down, was it in the ninth? Derek James told him, I think after the 10th, look, you need to go out there and knock him out. You're gonna lose this fight. What did you make of it? It wasn't, someone just said watching Canelo Charlo must have given John a bit of extra pride in his performance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I know what I give it in my performance. And I didn't really know what to expect in this performance. I knew that it was going to be hard for Charlo, obviously being a 154 champion, bulking up to 168. It's one of those, you've got to either overcommit and be big for 168. He's obviously the naturally bigger man being a 154 fighter and Canelo having come from 147. So Charlo is a naturally bigger man being 6 foot, 6'1". But it seriously needs to bulk up and potentially risk not being able to get back down to 154 to defend those titles and maybe looking at his future at 160. But I don't think he did that. I think he threw a bit of caution to the wind and he didn't. I was expecting him to go balls to the wall and really go for it and let his hands go and be relentless, and he didn't do that. I was bit shocked in his approach to it. I think it was. It looked like he'd just gone there for the payday.
It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I hate to say that it looks like he's gone there for the payday because as a fighter, we don't do that. We go there and we put it on the line, and it just didn't feel like he'd done that.
Do you think there's going to be questions around the preparation? I was listening to the commentary early in the fight, and Derek James made it quite apparent in the build-up that he wanted Charlo to come in lighter than he did. Charlo, I think, came in at 167.5, which is obviously quite heavy when you're moving up from 154. I think Derek James would have preferred something like 162, 163. He obviously came in heavier. It wasn't to be. Do you start then questioning the camp and the preparation when you're able to eat that much more? I mean, he didn't look like he had the power behind his shots when he did land. Canelo was walking through them. I just found it a bit baffling.
Yeah, it was strange. It was he was throwing shots with like the what they call them, like the I don't want to hurt you shots, like
Yeah.
just peppering the double jab, but nothing really behind it. I don't want to bash him. He's a great fighter. He's still an undisputed champion at 154, but it was always going to be a tough ask. Like going up the weights, if you spar a heavyweight, you can feel it. You're throwing shots, and you're not really having the desired effect on the opponent if they're that bit heavier. So it's obvious that his power's not carried up to 168 for him to bother Canelo with his shots. So in the end, ultimately, Canelo just pretty much walked through him and not really had much respect for his power.
Canelo still at his best?
I still don't think he is. I think he's still good enough to beat a lot of people, myself included. But I think the likes of the Benavidez, I think he's going to struggle.
Pick up on that. So someone said about the Benavidez fight. Now, for the last year and a half, Canelo's always sort of pushed it to one side. We saw the best of Benavidez against Caleb Plant in that fight, which was pretty even going into it. How does that fight go, in your opinion?
It's a tough fight. I think the thing that will beat Canelo, which we've seen before, is the weight, and the likes of Bivol up at 175. I know he's put it down to a rib injury now. Some months later, maybe even a year later. But Yeah, he's put it down to rib injury, but I mean, Bivol was perfect that night, punch perfect, and I mean, he's not a big 175, but Benavidez is a huge 168 fighter. I almost don't know how he makes the weight.
Missed it a couple of times.
I think he does take the best out of himself to make the weight. I think he loses a lot of power. But I think that could be what could trouble Canelo is the sheer size. I mean, he'll be 168 on the scales, but come fighting it, he would be a 190, 195 fighter.
Picking up on that then, someone said, where does John rank Canelo on a pound-for-pound basis now?
Up there. I mean, who are you going to put above him?
Crawford 1, maybe, and Louis 2.
Crawford, Inoue. It's all very close. It's very nip and tuck. Crawford's, I mean, you're 1 or 2 either way.
Someone said he looked marginally better to me, no hand injury, and he didn't tire like he did versus John. Maybe he didn't tire as not as much power from Charlo, like you said.
Not as much of a high work rate, I don't think. I don't think that there was much of a pace being forced in that fight. I think he kind of dictated it very well. I do think there's still an issue with his right hand. He doesn't seem to throw a straight right hand. He seems to just always loop it or arc it in around the side. So I'll be interested to know what the actual injury was on his right hand. But like I say, he's not at his best, but he's still good enough to operate at that level.
Give it another 10 minutes or so, John, and then I will let you get on with your evening. I know that you're a family man, and I appreciate you making the time for us.
No
Someone put
problem, mate.
a Langer fight option for John. Now, this was something that was discussed, but as far as I'm aware, on their side, they're not ready for that fight.
Well, I did hear about Belanga being matched up with Munguia.
Yeah.
Apparently, Belanga wouldn't be ready for December, so it was all yet to be seen. That's why the Munguia fight was being spoken about for me. So, listen, I'm up for all these fights. I would like Munguia next. Take care of business there. Then I'm open for all comers.
Do you feel like sort of before Belanga fought Jason Quigley last time out, he was using your name an awful lot? Obviously, they were trying to tee up that Canelo fight. A lot of them were saying maybe John Ryder and then Canelo. Do you think maybe since that fight he's shying away and not mentioning your name as much?
I just think he's not got the power he thinks he has. He's gone in there. Oh, listen, Jason Quigley's a very good fighter. He's a standout amateur. He's had some great fights in the pro ranks, and I mean these people don't give him the respect he deserves. He's a great fighter, and no one's just going to walk through him like Belanga thought he was. He's been in there with some great fighters in Torino Johnson, and a few others, but no one's going to walk through him like that. And Belanga certainly isn't. He hasn't got the IQ. He might have the power, but he's not got the boxing IQ to do it.
What do you put it down to? Obviously, he had all of those first round KOs. It's a bit baffling, really, when we look at it on like face and resume value. We know this standard of opposition isn't quite the same, but to bowl everyone out the way he did, all within one, and then to start going the distance, what do you put that down to?
I think it's the thing. I think he's a huge super middleweight. I think he obviously puts a lot into making the weight, and he probably hasn't got a lot in him after the first few rounds with making the weight. Obviously, the opponents he's been knocking out, he's been probably short notice-ish opponents over 8-10 round distance. Probably getting them in the last minute, underprepared and underpaid potentially, and just taking a good shot and looking for a way out.
Someone, Dylan, just put, what fight recently announced are you most looking forward to?
Recently, and I'm looking forward to Joe Cordina's fight in Monte Carlo. I'm obviously looking forward to. I'm not too sure yet. I'm looking forward to Bam and Sonny Edwards. That'll be very good.
What do you think in that one, John?
Mate, it's a real clash of styles. I'm going to go for my Brit, Sonny Edwards. I'd like to see him do it, become a unified champion, and bring it home and for some big nights back here.
Talking about Joe Cordina, Alex has just said after this fight, we know that Joe's got a voluntary in Monte Carlo. Who would you like to see him in with next? Joe told me he wants Navarrete. He's also he likes the idea of moving up and becoming a two-weight world champion. I think the second only ever person to do it alongside Joe Calzaghe. He's chasing greatness.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him get a unification. Never it would be perfect, and then after that, who knows? Up the weights and pick up more titles and become the 2-weight, 3-weight world champion.
For our sponsors, House of Boxing, I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. I can't make predictions, and you may too. But Wood Warrington next week in Sheffield. I suppose Josh Warrington, a lot of people wrote off after the Luis Alberto Lopez fight, but then seeing the performance that Lopez put in with Mick Conlan, does it change your mind at all? Lee Wood has boxed to an excellent game plan time and time again under Ben Davison. Last time against Lara, executed it perfectly. What do you think?
Right, listen, I know both fighters. It's a hard one for me. I think we at times we thought Josh was past his best, but then, like you say, we see the, the performance he put on against sorry Lopez put on, and he's a great fighter. So there's no discredit to Josh there. He went in there and listen. He might not have been his best that night, but he's got an opportunity going against Lee Wood. Nothing gets the juices flowing like an all English clash, and I'm sure he's more up for this than he's ever been. I just want to see them both come away happy, healthy, and with a lot of money in the bank.
Good on you, John. Good answer. That's what we got to do is the impartiality. Sammy asks if John, are you still contracted to Matchroom?
I am. I'm still under the Matchroom banner. Obviously, hence why I was at the 5K yesterday.
Hence why you're at the 5K. Would you not come along anyway?
Nah, mate, I could do my own 5K anywhere in the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
The whole point of making the trip to Hyde Park was for the whole Matchroom thing.
Just have a little word with Eddie and say, come on, get me out again, Sham.
Sort me out, Ed. I need a date.
Someone put funny Ricky Burns story.
Um,
There must be loads.
Mate, he's just a lunatic. I remember him and Kevin Mitchell was on camp in Portugal, and we went
Oh
for a
my
run.
God. This is already.
We was out for a run up the cliffs, down the cliffs. We ended up running down a motorway, and got lost. I thought I knew the way, clearly didn't. And me and Kevin gave up at an hour and 48 minutes. And Ricky said, I can't stop. My legs will seize up, while he was still jogging off in front of us. And then I think Tony found him in the car at 2 hours, 8 minutes, still running.
My God.
Yeah.
Well, that is
Not
different.
funny, but just goes to show you what an absolute animal Ricky Burns is.
I suppose we reiterate that with him still having that fight the other week.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, 2 days later, we've done the same run again for the full 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Down a motorway.
Because we knew the way that time.
Was it not obscenely dangerous?
Mate, Danger is Ricky's middle name.
On yours as well, the gorilla, mate. He's the man who goes to Mexico, cartel territory. Who wins up and down the steps in Leon C?
Conor Ben's very fast on it. I'm not too bad. I'm there or thereabouts.
On the old nasal breathing when you do it?
Not a chance, mate. You go over. That's full on lung breathing at your mouth, nose, eyes, and arse.
Sammy Sammy asked if AJ boxes Wilder and Fury boxes Usyk at the same time, what one would you watch?
Mate, it would be TV.
Split screen, like us now.
Yeah. Like you once, I mean, yeah.
John, I don't know if I asked you already. Favourite cheat meal?
Cheat meal. I do love a steak, mate. A churrasco de lomo from Gaucho's.
Is that a cheat meal?
400 grams. Just love it. I do love ice cream. Ice cream is my go-to.
When you're in camp, do you ever eat those Halo tops on a random?
I live for Halo tops. The days I can have a Halo top is like the best days ever.
Do you have them in camp?
Yeah, they're not bad, are they? What, they 320 calories per tub? It's like
out of camp. What's your preference? Are you a Ben and Jerry's man?
No, man, I'm still a Halo top man.
Halo top man out of camp.
Yeah,
complete professional.
Well, I don't know about that. I do like a bit of Ben and Jerry's, but I don't really. My kids have it in the freezer, but I tend to steer away from it.
All right, John, I'm gonna let you go. One more from me. We've seen that Fury Usyk's been signed. Mad one. We were expecting maybe December 23rd, maybe early next year, off the back of the Ngannou camp. What do you think? Prediction?
I don't think it's going to happen in December. I think it's a bit too soon after the Ngannou fight. But I do think early 2024. And I think Fury's going to become undisputed, even though he doesn't want to. He's not fussed with it. But I think he will do it. I think Usyk's obviously a very good fighter, technically very gifted. I do think there was chinks in his armor versus Daniel Dubois, and Daniel Dubois was unfortunate at times with the shots. Listen, I think they was borderline and potentially low, but it just wasn't good signs from Usyk there. I think he was hurt more than he should have been. And listen, I think you can't give them signs of decline when you're going to get someone like Tyson Fury.
John, some man for one man. Will I see you in Sheffield next week?
I doubt it, mate, but yeah, I need to get my shirt off you, mate, because you've nicked that shirt from Dublin
I
and
have
you've
still
not yet
got your
returned
polo
it.
shirt in my. In fact, I'm going to message you after this, and I'm going to post it to you tomorrow.
Cheers, mate. Can we please clear up that I left it in a change room and like
In
other
May,
than that? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, a bit
Yeah.
dodgy.
Yeah. Left it in Peter Parsons' laptop bag and he's nabbed it.
I've ended up with your Sandro polo shirt in me, folded up somewhere for the last couple of months. That will be returned to you, John Ryder. Thank you for.
You've been mopping up sick with it and stuff, ain't you? I bet.
I have, mate. Every time I come back from a night out in the old Cirencester. We're on again next week, 7 p.m. You won't be here. You'll probably be enjoying your family life. John, I'm going to let you go. I don't know if you just swipe up and leave or whatever you do. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you, my man.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Nice to see you.
And you, guys. Thank you. There we are. People, thank you very much. Gutted, got in a bit late, but I will tune in next week. No problem. 61 of you in here. It's a good way to start. We're back here next week, 7 p.m. Shout out House of Boxing, shout out Empire Fight Store, shout out William Hill, shout out Boxing Social, most importantly. We're trying to do a good job. Me, Lewis, and Matt Lenahan. We're back here next week, 7 p.m. Wood Warrington recap. It's exciting. We're up in Sheffield for the big one. Any more questions anyone's got for me? I don't mind keeping this going for a couple more minutes. If not, we will wrap it up. It was a good weekend of boxing. Charlo, obviously a little bit disappointing. Good to have John Ryder on here, speaking to him. Good questions from everyone, actually. It's like a live interview, isn't it? Talk about Halo Top, Ice Cream, Ricky Burns, Belanga, Munguia, everything. But yeah, nothing else in the chat. I'm going to wrap this up. Someone said, Parsons, how old are you, mate? I'm 20 years old, boxing pound for pound, Jack. I'm a young pup in the industry. People, we go again next week, 7 p.m. Make sure you're here. My beautiful or not so much beautiful face will be on your screen. Thank you very much for watching. We go again.